if you want to go ahead and record, and maybe if I can also have you kind of watch the chat to see if there's anything in there. And at the end, I'll do questions and answers if that works.
That sounds good. We're all set.
Okay. All right. This call is called Doing the Do. And the great thing about network marketing is it's easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. Because I am a teacher, and let me just go back a minute and introduce myself. My name is Kimberly Duncan, and I am a life coach in New You Life. And I have partnered with my best friend, Rochelle Millions. So we do this business together, and of course with all of you also. And it's just a great business and opportunity. But as I said before, it's easy to do and it's easy not to do. And the reason that it's easy not to do is my day job. I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
And
Hey, want to bet?
As
Saturday night, she'll probably be there.
I think somebody, if you could mute yourself. So there's certain things that I have to get done at a certain time, or there's consequences. In network marketing, you're your own boss. And sometimes that's a great thing because you can make up your own hours. You can decide to work this in the nooks and crannies of your life. But the bad part about that is also you can also do nothing, and then you won't have the benefits and you won't have the success. And then sometimes you may say, well, this didn't work for me, but it's usually you didn't work it. So tonight I just want to kind of go over a little checklist of things that you can kind of go through on a daily basis to make sure that you're doing to help you get that success. So the first one, and this one is kind of an oldie but goodie, is daily affirmations. And in my first company, I always wrote my affirmations I still do, but when that's when I started affirmations, was in my first company. And when I wrote them as if they already happened. And one of the things that I wrote every day is I drive a white Mercedes. And not only did I have that as an affirmation, but I also went to the Mercedes dealership. I took pictures with Mercedes and I had those posted around. So by doing that and writing those every day, when it came true, it was like, wow, that is awesome. And not only did I have a book that I wrote them down in, and now not only do I write them down, but I also have them posted. I have different things posted all over my house to kind of remind me. And sometimes when you're writing these every day, again and again and again, like I would write those same ones every day. You kind of think, why am I writing this again and again? But trust me, it is a great practice to do that. Another good one might be, I am a business builder magnet. And just knowing that you're a magnet in finding the right people to join you in your business. The next thing on the checklist is goal setting. And there's a Harvard study that says if you write your goals down in red, then I can't remember the percentage, but it's a very high percentage that they're more likely to happen. And these, you don't have to necessarily, like the affirmations, write them down every day, but this is something that you should be reading every day. And on my goal, I have a good, better, best. And a lot of times when you do goals, you want them to have a date attached to it. So that just helps you to make sure that you're working towards those. Okay, the next one is your prospecting and reaching out to people. So on that one, you want to reach out to people every single day. And well, I guess not every single day. For me, I reach out 6 days a week to 5 people. So my goal is 30 people a week. And you constantly want to be adding people to your list to be able to keep reaching out to people. And what I tell people is pick a number that's good for you. You know, just because some people do 10, some people do 3, but pick a number that's good for you that you can do at least 5 days a week. Because that is one thing that you want to be consistently reaching out to people and putting people in your funnel. Because as you're putting people in your funnel and then you're following up with them, you're getting them on the opportunity calls, that's how your business is going to grow. Also, if you're doing that, if you've heard the speed of the leader, the speed of the pack is, you know, just kind of trying to set that example for your team. So adding to that list goes into my next thing on the checklist, and that's Facebook. Just social marketing, social, God, I can't think of it. Social networks. Those are places where you can connect with people. So some of the things that you want to do on Facebook is you want to be posting yourself. You want to go and you want to add value to other people's posts. Because then that just helps you get more and more connected with people. You also, I go through every day and I look and see whose birthdays are that day. And you can write on their wall, you can send them a message. I actually leave voice messages and people love them. They get so excited because they're not used to the voice messages. They're more used to somebody posting on their wall. So I just send a voice message in Messenger. So that's another way to connect to people, and it's personal, and you know, it's just a way to reach out to people, especially if it's people that somehow you became their friend, but you don't really know how. Just, you know, when their birthday comes up, that's a way to kind of get in front of them once again. Another thing on Facebook is get involved in some groups of something that you're interested in. So if you like going to the movies, maybe see if there's groups. Like I said, I'm a teacher, so I'm part of some different teacher groups, and you know, be active in those groups to get to know people in those groups. The other thing is to add value into our Facebook groups, either post or make comments. And that way that will also add value to our groups. And as you add people to that group, then it will, your feed will show up because you have added value into that. The next thing on my checklist is to grow yourself. And this is probably one of my favorite things, but you have to understand doing this has to be during times when you aren't doing income producing activity. Because if it's when you can be doing income producing activity, this next one will not necessarily help you grow your financial part. It will in the long run, but if this is all you concentrate on, then this is going to be a hard one. So growing yourself, every morning I listen to podcasts. I only have a 5-minute commute. So for me, I can't make my car necessarily a university. Like some people, if you have a longer commute, that's a great time to listen to podcasts. I listen to podcasts while I work out. But for sure in the morning as I'm getting ready. And some of my favorite podcasts that I listen to, Gary V, he's really good. You just have to, he uses some language that isn't always maybe everybody's favorite. So you kind of have to get past that shock value of him. One that I just found recently, his name is Ed Milet, and he has some good information. Anything from Tony Robbins is always good. I also found one called Virtual Upline, and that has to do specifically with network marketing. David Wood, Kick-Ass Life, he also is a great trainer. So those are some of my favorite podcasts, but you can, if you have the app podcast, you can look in there and find different subjects depending on what you're interested in. Another way that you can grow yourself is to try to read 10 minutes every day of a book that's going to help you improve. And some of my favorites that I have loved in the past that I've already read is Go Pro by Eric Worre. He also has podcasts. I haven't really listened to his podcast, but so he has podcasts too. One of my favorites is The Slight Edge by Jeff Bridges. Is that who wrote that one? I think, no, Jeff, what's his last name? Jennifer, do you know? Jeff Olson? Okay. Oh yeah, Jeff Bridges is the actor. So Jeff Olson, he wrote that one. That one's a really good one. The Compound Effect, it's very similar to The Slight Edge. It talks about, and those two books, The Slight Edge and The Compound Effect, they're really good just in life, to help with life and how to do things. It doesn't matter if you're trying to get healthier, if you're trying to exercise more, if you're trying to work on your relationships. Both of those books are really good because it just kind of talks about some skills that you can use in your everyday life. Another one is Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, as we all are going to be making tons and tons of money in this business. That's a great book as far as kind of how to manage your money. Another one is Beach Money. That's a good one. That one I think is by Jordan Adler, if I remember correctly. Sorry, I'm not that great with the authors. Oh, Jennifer's telling me, yep, I'm glad that you're on there and I can see you and you're like, yep. And then another one is Go for No. But there's all kinds of books that you can find that, are great. Anything from John Maxwell is really good. Dare to Dream, Dream to Win. I think that's the title of it. But anyway, there's lots and lots of great books to read. The next thing on the checklist is connect with your team. So if that's, sending them texts, or if that's having phone calls with them or checking in with them, that's another thing to be doing, is connecting with your team. As far as with connecting to, you also want to be following up with people that are on the product. So a lot of times we say after people have been on the product for 3 days, you should check in with them. After they've been on the product for a week, you should check in with them. And I know I have some people on my team that kind of consistently, they pick a day, and that's when they check up with people and how they're doing on the product. And so that's a great way to make sure that if something's happening with somebody, if you're not reaching out and talking to them, they may not reach out to you. So you may not know what's happening until you talk to them. And then if you hear, maybe they're having headaches or something, then you may want to encourage them to make sure that they're drinking lots of water and that maybe they need to use less. So those are things that if you are connecting with people and finding out kind of what's going on, then you can help them. But if you're not reaching out to people, then you're not going to be able to do that. And same with your team. You want to be connecting with them and checking in with them, because if they have questions or if they've never done network marketing, that's something that this is a way to make sure that they are getting the help that they need. Another thing on my checklist is gratitude. And some people like to have a gratitude journal. And I've done all kinds of different things. But what I found for the best for me is just kind of stating what I'm grateful for. When I wake up in the morning, saying it out loud, what I'm grateful for, and just really making sure, even if it's little things. As a teacher, the month of November, in my classroom, we have morning meeting, and I had my kids every single day. They had to say what they're grateful for. And they were like, can't we say something different? And I'm like, no, not for the month of November. But it's a practice that I do every single day, and not just in November, but a lot of times if you want to make something a habit, you have to do it for at least 30 days to make that become a habit in your life. And then the last thing on my checklist is just making sure that you have balance. And what I mean by balance is there's this thing called the wheel of life, and there's different spokes that make the wheel roll. And you want to have it balanced so the wheel can roll evenly and it can make you catapult in a way that is in a positive way. If you're doing one thing too much and you're not focusing on the other parts of your life, then it's really, you're going to get burnout in whatever that is that you're putting too much energy in. But you need to think about the different things in your life. And so family's one of them, your job's one of them, your relationships or your friendships, or if this is your full-time job, or if this isn't your full-time job, you need to make sure that this is part of that wheel. Also spiritual, exercise, entertainment. So all those different areas in your life, you just want to make sure that you have a balance and that you are including all those things in your life. So that's my little checklist of doing the do and trying to make sure that I'm trying to do all those things on a daily basis. And I know that there's some things that I need to work on and to get better at. But by having this checklist, it just kind of reminds me, oh, yep, I did really well at these things today, and I didn't do so well on these things, so I need to try to do a better job at those things tomorrow. So at this point, I am going to open it up for questions, unless, Rachel, you want to add anything that I maybe missed on doing the daily do.
I think it was perfect. Thank you so much, Kim.
Okay. So are there any questions in the chat, or if somebody has a question?
I have a question. The podcast that you're saying, because I actually was going through and pulling them up on my phone on the podcast app. You said Gary B? Who?
V.
V?
V. Yeah, it's Gary, and then he spells it V-E-E. I think his last name's Vanderbilt. And no, that's not it. Lisa?
He is amazing.
That's it?
Gary V. He's
Yep.
like Vanderchuk, or VAN.
Oh, yeah.
VANERCH.
Got it.
He's like 2 minutes. He gives you like a zing. He's very vulgar. So like Kimberly was saying, you got to get past the swearing.
Yeah. You have to listen to his message, not sometimes yeah, it's worth it. But at first you kind of are like, whoa, what is happening here? And then when you hear his message, you're like, okay, that's just how he is. And the first time I saw him, I had never heard of him. And so, and I was in a huge room, and Tony Robbins, I went to see Tony Robbins, and I was like, who is this guy that thinks he can just get on this stage and talk like that? But he is really worth it. So, okay. Any other questions?
I'd like to ask a question to everybody because you have so much good information, Kim. I'd like to know sincerely how many people actually write their affirmations out every single day by show of hands. I think it's interesting because, I mean, writing out your affirmations is really, really important, like you said, Kimberly, because it really does go to a whole another level. It's one thing to think things. It's another thing to be visual, and then to make that kind of mind connection to writing it out. I saw you wrote them out. It does actually make a big difference. And I think it's one of those things that we think is like ubiquitous, just like floating in space somewhere, because it sounds so hokey pokey or so maybe even almost task and time driven, but it really has a magical power when you write it out. So if you didn't raise your hand, I challenge you to start writing out your affirmations this week and just see how the magic begins to happen for you.
Yeah, it is a hugely powerful thing. And sometimes it does feel, who's that Saturday Night Live guy? Is the guy Smiley, or, I like myself, or, I'm lovable, or whatever he would stand in the mirror and you think of that goofy guy. But I'll tell you the things that when I have been dedicated to do that, that is truly when things have happened for me.
Kimberly, you do have a question. Can you give an example of how to connect with people on Facebook groups? Many of them forbid even mentioning MLM or soliciting.
Well, I think I agree with that. And so I think just making connections as far as trying to become their friend outside of the group, and you don't want to do that right away. You want to comment in the group, you want to add value in the group, whatever group it is. And you will not in that group ever mention anything. But if there's somebody that you start connecting with and you start making comments on their posts, and then they comment on yours, and then outside of that group you can become friends, then that's where maybe then you can then start seeing on their Facebook. I think the biggest thing is listening to people, and listening to people if you're having a one-on-one conversation, if you're on the phone with them, if it's even in Facebook, but listening to people and seeing what their needs are. And when a need comes up that you feel like the gel can help them with, then that's when you present it. And it could be, God, I wish if they posted on their Facebook, their personal Facebook, man, I need money for Christmas. Or if it's, I just never have any energy. I have 3 kids and my energy is always zapped. So it's just listening to people. And that's when you connect. And then that's when, and then it doesn't feel weird. It, like if you just meet somebody and then all of a sudden you say, hey, I've got a product for you, or I've got a business opportunity for you, and there's no connection, then that does feel spammy. Did that answer the question? Does that help? In those kind of situations, it definitely takes some time. Like, it's not just something, when you know somebody, it's sometimes easier to reach out with them because you care about them and you know that this gel, can make a difference in your life. But when you don't really know somebody, it takes time to get to know those people. And then, like I said, listening is one of the biggest things. Jennifer, did you see any other questions?
I'm scouring. No. How about I'd like to know who all is going to Philly. I know everybody's muted anyway.
Yeah, I know Rachel's going.
Yeah, I'm going. Can't wait.
Yay!
Yay!
I know, I wish I was going. And I can't wait until they announce when the big one is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little nervous. I'm hoping I have 3 senior boys, so I'm hoping it's not in.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm like, please. So we shall see. So one of the things that I think with this checklist, I just, I'm not necessarily a listy person, but even just writing those little things with little boxes and, just kind of checking off when you do it. There is something about, even though I'm not a big list person, but just even looking at it, even if you don't want to check it off every day, but looking at it and saying, okay, which of these things did I get accomplished? And like I said, it does take time to form habits. So you need to continually try to do these things at least for 30 days. And then it will become more of a habit. So, all right. Well, if there's no other questions, I don't have any announcements. Rachel, is there any announcements that you can think of right now?
No, I can't think of anything. Sorry, I've been behind the scenes. I have a new puppy and I got caught in the rain, so I'm a hot mess. So thank you so much, Kim, for a wonderful training. And thank you, Jen, for staying on top of the questions. Appreciate it.
Yes, I really appreciate it too. And thank you so much for taking the time to be on the call live. And if you weren't able to be on the call live, hopefully that this training helps you in your business, and have a great week. And we will see you on Zoom next week.
All right.
Thanks so much.
I'll get the recording up shortly.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Kim.